I'll admit that tonight I remain confused about a lot of things related to the Chinese spy balloon shot down off the coast of South Carolina, but I'm even more confused about the 3 previous incidents of Chinese balloons flying over the United States during the Trump administration. The head of NORAD, Commander General Glenn Van Herk, is now confirming their existence, but claiming they just missed those at the time. Quote, "Every day as a NORAD commander, it is my responsibility to detect threats to North America. I will tell you that we did not detect those threats, and that's a domain awareness gap that we have to figure out, but I don't want to go into further detail." I mean, that in and of itself is a stunning admission. But he appears to be, I guess, owning up to mistakes. Got to figure out how those are happening. But how do we suddenly know about it now? What makes it all the more confusing is a report from CNN, Bloomberg, and others in which the current administration, the Biden administration, is offering to brief Trump officials on the incidents. Huh? Why would the Trump officials be briefed now? What does that even mean? Fox News is also reporting of yet another Chinese balloon that crashed off the coast of Hawaii 4 months ago. Now, Florida Republican Senator Marco Rubio, vice chairman of the Select Committee on Intelligence, acknowledged that while this is not the first time a Chinese balloon was spotted near the United States, its flight path over the middle of the country was unprecedented.
That's why everyone's reacting the way they're reacting. We've never seen this. So this is no comparison to anything that may have happened up to this point.
The Department of Defense now saying in a statement, People's Republic of China, government surveillance balloons transited the continental United States briefly at least 3 times during the prior administration and once that we know of at the beginning of this administration, but never for this duration of time. Okay, so everyone seems to be on the same page about that. But I still don't get it. President Biden said this today about the balloon we do know about.
Once it came over to into the United States from Canada, I told the Defense Department wanted to shoot it down as soon as it was appropriate. They concluded we should not shoot it down over land. It was not a serious threat, and we should wait till it got across the water.
All right, starts January 28th over Alaska. First spotted. I don't claim to know what the exact risks are to civilians in shooting down this balloon over land. And we're being told by Pentagon officials that the intelligence China can gather from the balloon is no greater than what they gather from a satellite. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's a vast understatement. But regardless, none of it explains how this supposedly happened 3 times before. Now, not surprisingly, former President Trump denies any of this ever happened on his watch, posting to social media. Now they're putting out that a balloon was up by China during the Trump administration in order to take the heat off the slow-moving Biden fools. China had too much respect for Trump for this to have happened, and it never did. Biden's National Security Council coordinator, John Kirby, said this about the balloons in previous years, including during the Trump administration. He said, quote, "I can't speak to what awareness there was in the previous administration about these. I can tell you that we discovered these flights after we came into office. We became aware that at least on 3 occasions, surveillance balloons by the PRC transited U.S. airspace." I just don't get it at all. So joining us now is someone who understands this stuff much better than I do. Matthew Kroenig, he's a former senior policy advisor in the Pentagon under George W. Bush, Obama, and Trump administrations, who worked on China and nuclear and missile defense policy. Thanks very much for coming on the show. Appreciate it. All right, so can you explain to me what could have possibly happened with regard to these 3 incidents supposedly in the Trump administration, NORAD missing it, and maybe just as importantly, now realizing that they missed it? How could this possibly transpire?
Well, first, it's a pleasure to be on the show, and I think I can shed a little bit of insight on this. First, America's radar and early warning system wasn't designed to detect balloons. It was designed to detect incoming Soviet missiles during the Cold War. And so I can see how our early warning system didn't pick this up. And in fact, some of the reports I've seen have suggested that early on these were identified as unidentified flying objects. And so our intelligence agencies have adjusted and are better able to track these systems now. The other thing I would say is, there are a lot of balloons coming through U.S. airspace on a daily basis, weather balloons and other things. And it is possible that there are lower level officials in the U.S. government who saw these coming in during the Trump administration, but just didn't see it as relevant, didn't decide to alert higher level authorities. So it may have never come to the attention of cabinet officials in the Trump administration.
But thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.